Hey everyone, I am here today to bring you answers to questions that you have asked me. That's right, I hit the awesome milestone of 1,000 subscribers and I asked you to ask me questions in the comment of that video. So thank you to everyone who commented, and a even bigger thank you to everyone who got me to 1,000 subscribers. It's honestly just a number, but it's also reflective of just how much this channel has grown, and I am very thankful for all of you who have come to see my content. So enough rambling, let's get on with the questions. The first question comes from Alpha Male Andrew, and he wants to know what and/or who inspired me to start making videos. Well, I would say as far as my content goes and the style of my channel, my biggest inspirations are Captain Midnight, Sean Chandler Talks About, Nando vs. Movies, Patrick H. Willems, True Green 7, and Arlo. They all do a lot of great video game criticism and movie criticism, so I've learned a lot from them. Wacko Overlord wants to know, what's the meaning behind the name Tam Valley? Well, the meaning behind the name Tam Valley actually dates back to when I was a little kid. I grew up in a little-known town called San Francisco. I doubt you've heard of it. Near San Francisco, there is a place called Tam Valley, and when I was a little kid, I went to a summer camp there. And at that camp, I learned how to do some video production. I worked with cameras. This was back in like 2007 or 2008, so we were using iMovie and some really shitty Macs, but it was still really fun. So I thought calling the channel Tam Valley would just be a cool throwback to my childhood. Matthew C. wants to know, what was the idea behind the rebrand to Tam Valley Productions? Well, if you've been here long enough to see the rebrand, then thank you for being one of my first subscribers. I changed up pretty early to the Tam Valley Productions name because I wanted to have a professional kind of unified look for the channel. I already explained where the name came from, but the color mint green is just one of my favorite colors, and I thought it suited the channel well, so there's a lot of mint green on here. Greencap Zelda wants to know, how do you choose a topic for your videos, and how do you go about making a video about this topic? Well, all the videos obviously come from my interests, first and foremost. I have a giant working list on my computer that I run through a few times a week, and I just add ideas, and I have a bunch of half-finished scripts on there. Yeah, and I don't know, every week I just kind of pick which one is speaking to me the most, which one I could make a good script about. I want to have videos that have a level of research in them and a compelling argument for people to agree or disagree with. I think that's a lot more interesting. Bloxor wants to know, what is blue? Asking for a friend. I don't know. Let's find out. Nope, don't like that. Let's go back to mint green. Luke Forbes wants to know, do you plan on putting out a specific type of content consistently, or are you currently just seeing what works and what doesn't? I think I'm mostly going to be doing Nintendo videos and some videos about movies and TV franchises that I'm really into, but I think I'm going to stick mostly with Nintendo because I think that's what people respond to most on this channel. Obviously I'm not just doing videos for the views, but it's nice to know that people definitely want to see certain types of content. Cthulhu Tentacalis wants to know, why do you think Farfetchd caught so much flack before Surfetchd got revealed? It's always been my favorite Pokemon, and yes, it doesn't have the best stats, but it's not horrible. I think the main reason people didn't like Farfetchd before Surfetchd was because it's one of those weird one-stage evolution Pokemon, especially since it's a normal type, so I think people think it's just kind of there and it's kind of filler. In the same way people don't like Pokemon like Dunsparce or Smeargle. But honestly, I really did like Farfetchd before the evolution was even revealed. In fact, I like it more than Surfetchd. And I think people have to stop sleeping on those one-stage Pokemon. Ostrich God wants to know, what is your favorite Pokemon? Well, my all-time favorite Pokemon is Togekiss. I've always really liked this one for the design mainly, because I think it's a dove, but it's a really ambiguous design, and it has some killer coverage. It can learn some great moves, and I've used it both in playthroughs and competitively. But some honorable mentions go to Tropius, Arcanine, and Venusaur. So yeah, I guess the moral of the story is that I really like Pokemon that look kind of cute and unassuming, but are actually really big and really strong. Biff the Banana wants to know, what are my thoughts on the Civ series and other strategy games as a whole? That's a good question, because the Civ series is actually one that I really haven't gotten into, and I also really like board games, and those are just like analog versions of strategy games. So I don't know, I've never checked out a Civilization game, but if I do, I am definitely going to be putting that on this channel. Corona Reaper wants to know, what do you think about and have you watched, read, or played the non-movie stories from Star Wars? Yeah, I definitely have. I am a huge fan of the Clone Wars series. I thought it had an amazing ending, and I think it's one of the best pieces of Star Wars content out there. I also really like The Mandalorian, and I've talked about that in I think 1 or 2 videos on this channel, because I really like Star Wars stories that are really out of the box and aren't about like the main thing going on, and that are more small scale. But in terms of comics, I would say that my favorite Star Wars comic of all time is the Vader series. I think it was released by Marvel, and it's a really, really amazing series with some awesome art. In terms of games, I would say that Star Wars games really don't get better than the Knights of the Old Republic. And finally, in terms of books, I would say the Heir to the Empire trilogy, written by Timothy Zahn, is pretty good. I don't think it's canon anymore because of the new Disney canon and however that works. But it's still a pretty awesome trilogy of books. And that's about it for questions. So thank you to everyone who commented with questions. I hope I got them all, and I hope I answered them in a satisfying way. So again, thank you so much for everyone who got me to this awesome milestone, and thank you so much for engaging with this channel. It really means a lot, and I'm really excited to see where things go. So I'll see you next week for some more regularly scheduled content. I have a bunch of good stuff coming, so stay tuned.